The temptation of buying gear whenever something new comes out. It's so intense. I'm always just like, oh look, I got a nice camera. Cool. Oh, I need this one too. Oh, new one came out. What? This one's a full frame. I want that too. And this one's a pocket. It's just like, it gets crazy. I literally bought all this gear here too, which is funny, but also kind of sad. But it's hard to resist the temptation in this current generation. Every day I check on YouTube, it's like, boom, 20 new cameras that came out that are all epically awesome. I just want to like buy everything. It's really hard. And I always go, oh, I'm a filmmaker, so I can buy it. It's an investment, but really I just buy it and then I use it for a little bit and I shelf it, collects dust, and I'm like, well, I spent a lot of money to use it 4 times. And looking back at the last 11 years of making films and videos professionally, there are 3 things that I'm really glad I bought, and they actually turned out to be good investments. And when I say good investments, I mean I put an X amount of dollars in, and over the course of time, it paid itself off and then started becoming a profit. So now whenever I take it on a job, I usually bill a little fee for it, and that's all profit. And if you could keep making those smart investments, you'll be cruising. Let's be real, all professional grade photo video gear is expensive, but it's expensive for a reason. They have good longevity. They're meant to be used daily. They're not gonna break on you after you take it on a couple shoots. And I think the best pieces of gear are things that I use on a regular basis, not just very specific shoots, but all shoots, whether it's a small production or a big production. I want to be able to use this gear on everything. I want it to be durable, and I want it to last a long time, and I want it to be useful. Most people say the best long-term investment you can make are lenses, which I agree with them to a certain extent. I've used some lenses that are like 15 years old and they're working flawlessly, and they don't really depreciate. They hold their value very, very well. So you can get one, use it for 5 years, and then sell it. There's still a large demand for popular lenses, even if they're used. So they're definitely great investments, but I'm not gonna include this in the top 3 simply because there's so many different mounts and so many different type of lenses. Sometimes you want a zoom lens that covers an APS-C sensor. Sometimes you want a full frame sensor that's autofocus. You want a fully manual lens, maybe something compact. Depending on what you're shooting and the size of the production, your needs are gonna constantly change, and I wanna focus on things that you can buy outright right now, and then in 10 years, you'll look back on it and you'll be like, wow, I'm still using this thing and it's awesome. Anyways, have I given enough hints to what the 3 best investments are? I'm talking about things that's gonna last a long time. You're gonna be using it on a regular basis. You're gonna be able to use it on small and big shoots. And in 10 years down the line, it's not gonna be an obsolete item. Like you buy a GoPro 2 years down the line, you're like, oh man, this is so old now. So you guys should leave a comment letting me know what you guys think this top 3 is. Okay, you guys ready for number 1? What are you doing back there? This guy right here, and underneath this dead cat is the Sennheiser 416. It's become kind of an industry standard, and it's one of the most popular boom mics out there. It's around $1,000. This is one of the cleanest ways to record sound, and we have a 416 that's over 10 years old, and it's running solid. We always try to run this in addition to a lavalier and a few other audio tracks, but as much as possible, we try to use this as our primary source because it's the cleanest. With a boom pole, I can hang this over somebody and it's gonna pick them up and kind of isolate them in a nice little pocket. Perfect timing. As soon as we're like, hey, let's record some sound, some guy with a lawnmower that's way louder than it should be. I've never heard a lawnmower that loud.
That's actually one of our competitors.
Hi everybody, I'm Steve. We're doing a microphone test.
We once had this Audio-Technica, I forget the exact model number, and all of a sudden, like the high frequency stopped being recorded or something like that and needed to be serviced. We once needed to do a setup where we needed 2 microphones, so we tried to get a cheaper option, which was the Sennheiser ME66 or something like that. It worked for a few years, and then it just stopped working on us entirely, and it was just like, oh, well, should have just gotten another 416. I don't really know much about microphones, but I know people that are experts with sound, and they say the 416 is great, so I trust them. Steve, do some ASMR for us.
Who?
ASMR.
ASMR?
You take quiet things and you like make sounds like... Next up is a red camera. I'm just kidding. These things have a shelf life of a fraying iPhone charger. But really what's awesome is right down here, this tripod. This is a Stockler FSB8, which has a 75mm head. And down here is the Flowtech 75, which is new. I've had this tripod head for over 5 years and still runs great. And I've seen Stockler tripods that are like 20 years old. So these last a really long time. And these Flowtech 75, they're relatively new, but they're awesome. And once you work with a proper tripod, there's like no going back. I love the FSB8 because it's the best performing tripod head that they make that's a 75mm, meaning it's compact. It's not heavy, it's not hard to lug around. I could put a small DSLR on here, and I could also put much heavier rigs on here as well. I ran an Area Alexa on this a couple times, and that is on the higher end limit of this tripod head, but I still felt fairly comfortable. Any bigger than that setup, then you probably want to go to a 100mm tripod, which is awesome, but then you have this giant tripod, and it's not something you want to like travel all the time with or carry on your shoulder for long hikes. One of the things I always hated was trying to take your base plate and trying to slide it into your tripod, trying to get it to fit in just right. You just drop it in and it clicks in and it's secured, and then you just tighten it down and you can balance it out by sliding it forward and back. So this is the one I recommend to most people. Oh man, we're losing this light fast. 10,000 ISO. Thank God for good low light performance on these cameras now. You can adjust the pan and tilt tension very easily, and it has a counterbalance system, so you can point the camera at whatever and let go, and it sits there. It doesn't dip over like this. I think we all had those times where we had a camera on a tripod and then just slowly started tipping over and then tipping over. The counterbalance on this is awesome, and wherever you put the camera, it stays there, and it's also very fluid and controllable. You can really tell the difference between a professional grade and something that's a little more prosumer by just putting on a super tight angle lens and just doing a real smooth pan, come into a stop, and then kind of going back the other way, and this can do it so perfectly smooth. With a prosumer tripod, sometimes you have that little bit of like dead space, a little bit of slop, or that space where it kind of wiggles before the tension really starts to pick up, and it really becomes more noticeable once you start putting on tighter lenses. That light disappeared so fast. It's now 25,600 ISO. Now these legs, the Flowtech 75s, have only been out for like a year or two, so it's hard to say if it's gonna last as long as the tripod head, but we've all been through that time where you have this heavy camera and you're like tired and sweaty, you're like unlatching every little leg to kind of adjust it, and it's kind of awkward and uncomfortable. But what's awesome about this tripod is that there's 3 levers right here, and they're super easy to release. You can adjust the height just like that, and this releases all legs, so you can get it all the way up high, and you can also bring it all the way down low with just 1 lever per leg, and then you just find your spot and then you just lock it back in. It's awesome. Once you use these legs, you'll never be able to go back. But to make sure you get the most life out of your Stockler tripod, they do have some recommendations on storage or transportation. They say take your tilt and pan tension level and put it all the way up to max, so it's not locked, but it's tight. And then take your counterbalance and max that out as well, but do not lock it. These levers are to lock the tilt and pan. Keep those loose so that it can move if forced, but it's tight, and they recommend that to give you the longest life expectancy out of one of these heads. Now this final piece is what I consider to be one of the most crucial but underrated items, especially if you have clients that come on set with you, and that is not these monitors, although monitors are necessary, but really the wireless video feed. Both of these monitors right now are being fed from this Teradek Bolt 1000 XT that I have plugged into my Canon 80D right now. If you're seeing a little bit of latency, you're probably seeing it from the monitor because the Teradek itself transmit with less than 1 millisecond of latency. But now in hindsight, I wish I invested in a good set of Teradeks way long ago, because when you're doing work with clients, really what makes a difference between if they call you back or not is how they see the production from their perspective. And from a client's perspective, they don't really notice the difference between a $1,000 lens and a $10,000 lens. But I guarantee you, when you hand a client a monitor with a wireless feed, they're always like, holy crap, this is awesome. So to their eyes, it is a way better experience than just kind of like looking over your shoulder, trying to see what you're shooting. And I really think that significantly increases your odds of getting a callback from that client. And when it comes to video transmission, I'd say Teradek, hands down way to go. It's the industry standard and they last forever. And the beauty of it is that they're gonna last multiple cycles of your camera. Right now, I have it hooked up through HDMI through my Canon 80D. So this is actually the receiver here. This is the transmitter here that I have hooked up to this camera. This is the receiver over here. This specific one is 1,000-foot range, which I like to have, especially since we like to do some vehicle work sometimes. So sometimes we're pulling focus off a different vehicle than we're shooting in, but you could get them bigger or smaller depending on your needs. They come in a couple different ranges, 500,000, 3,000. And the Teradek is something we take on pretty much every shoot if there's clients around, or if we have a camera op doing a shoot for us and we're just there monitoring. It's so useful on every shoot, so you might as well just leave it in your kit. And the specific XD has SDI and HDMI, so it's awesome that you don't have to worry about like converting HDMI to SDI or SDI to HDMI. You could plug in pretty much any camera into the Teradek, and the Teradek has 2 SDI outs and 1 HDMI out as well. So no matter what kind of monitor you have on the other side, it's gonna work. You don't have to worry about converting the signal and all that crap. And remember, on set, there's a lot of things that only take a minute or two to fix, but then in post, it can end up being days and days of work or even a reshoot because you didn't catch a simple little thing. Maybe it's hair and makeup that you're not even paying attention to. The actress has like a huge weird strand of hair coming down the front, and someone on the other side of the monitor goes, hey, we should probably fix that because you're too focused on composition and lighting, all that stuff. More eyes on the monitor is always going to be useful because you're so zoned in on one specific thing. If you're opping the camera, you're focused on composition, making sure your focus is perfect and all this other stuff, that sometimes these little weird things slip past you. When you have people on the other side monitoring your work, then you're much less likely to get up later. So there you go. If I was just restarting in my career right now, the 3 things I would have invested in right away: good audio, Sennheiser 416, good tripod, which I love my Sockler FSB8 with Flowtech 75 legs, and a Teradek Bolt wireless system. And these 3 things are not things that are just gonna sit on your shelf and never get touched. Unlike all this stuff that's sitting on this shelf, and yeah, see all that stuff back there? It's all underexposed. All right, and it's time to read some comments from my last video, which is all about this little beast right here, the Blackmagic Cinema Camera 4K. Let's see what you guys had to say. Bart says, I'd love to see the Blackmagic versus Red image quality side by side. All right, I'll get started on that video. Red versus Blackmagic, let's do it. Michael says that Looney Tunes intro can't compete with your intro in this video. That actually must be the intro that I'm most proud of ever. Maddie says, can you bring it over so I can review it too? Thanks, I'll be waiting. Yep, Maddie, just let me know whenever I can come over. I love Toronto. Hey, Potato Dude, can you please make your content faster? Really want to learn more, and I've watched all your videos twice, some 3 or 4 times. I want more knowledge. Man, making content fast is so difficult. I was trying to make sure I at least do 2 videos a week, and even that is just like, I'm dying. I think a lot of it just comes down to my lack of organization. Have you noticed this video started when I was living at my old apartment? Because I shot that like a month and a half ago. And then I was just looking through my hard drive and I was like, oh wait, this video is pretty much done. I just have to film the last scene and post it. So now I'm just like circling back to old stuff. My brain is a madhouse. Please take me in the next shout out. All right, there you go. Congratulations. You just broke that yellow backdrop, Russell. Look at these rolls come in like 36-foot rolls. Edward says, Happy New Year. I hope you have a good New Year's, because I don't. That's the saddest comment I've ever read. Nice abs, bro. You know, that's the kind of abs you get when you work out constantly 3 times a week on a regular schedule and eat healthy, or learn how to use Photoshop. Johnny Tech Review says, your endings are the best. Abrupt. What are you talking about?